this Space Oddities special. We're here on quite an historic day for Irish as the Irish space program. What we've got happening today is that there's going to be a launch of an Irish satellite that is solely all Irish. It's part of an ESA mission called Fly Your Satellite. And I think this is the second round that they've actually done this on. And EARSat 1 stands for the Educational Irish Research Satellite 1. The whole idea of this is that ESA requests people put in requests to launch a satellite. They have to put in a proposal, they have to design it, what they're going to do with it, and it's all done by students. So this has all been built by students. It's been built by and designed by the University College Dublin and Queen's University Belfast. Tonight, I was just going to say we've got two guests. I've got Michael. Everybody knows him from Space Oddities.
Yep.
I've got Sinead at the moment. We've just lost Paul.
Lost Paul.
If Sinead, you'll probably remember if you were watching on Monday, was our guest. And if you want to learn a bit more about Sinead and what she does, then go back and watch last last Tuesday's show, and you'll be able to catch up there. Of course, Sinead is actually studying in Ireland. So, and your chosen subject is plasma, isn't it?
It's plasma physics, yeah. And I'm actually a student in Queen's University Belfast.
Oh,
so I've that link as well.
Yeah, so you got a link there.
I got a link to that. Hi, Paul.
Hi, Paul.
Hello, sorry, I disappeared for a moment there.
Yes.
I shut.
Paul's just popped back in again. Of course, this is Paul Evans, a regular on here almost. He's come along to join us for this live launch. So what do you think, Paul? Is this sort of like a major moment, do you think, in Irish?
Well, I think it is. It's a very significant moment for Ireland and its space industry, of course, to actually, I think Ireland is becoming the 90th country to have got something into space at this point, which is, the write-up I saw, it was quite funny, actually. It just gave me a little chuckle that the commentator for ESA will be a guy called Rick O'Shea.
Oh, wow.
I'm sure that's not his real name, but if you remember, there was an episode of Thunderbirds when they.
Yes, that's right. Yes, I remember.
He was a DJ in space, and he was Rick O'Shea. You see?
Yes.
Yeah, it tends to bounce off walls a lot. Yeah. Oh, that'll be interesting to see because I've got it all queued up, but they don't actually start until 6 o'clock. So.
Well, that could be a good name for an Irish satellite anyway, couldn't it?
Well, hopefully not. Hopefully not. We don't want it bouncing off of anything. Yes, it's going to be launching from on a what's it launching on? Our Falcon 9. I heard a bit of a blank there.
Yeah, that's a pretty well-established launch platform now.
Exactly, it's SpaceX Falcon 9.
It's one of those that spectacularly turns around and lands, which is good.
Yeah, we'll hopefully watch it until we get the because it never gets old seeing those boosters land.
It doesn't.
And I think this one will be returning. It's launching from Vandenberg in the USA, and the booster will be returning to the Vandenberg base. So we'll probably get some sonic booms, and but it never gets old to see these boosters return. I love every minute of it. I mean, many a time I'm up 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning just to watch these things happen. It's fantastic. And the course they got the Falcon Heavy, where they strap on 2 or 3 of these boosters, and now that they used to sort of ditch them in the sea, but now they're actually also returning them. So when they come back, you get double sonic booms or triple sonic booms. It's absolutely fantastic. I'm a bit of a sucker for these things coming back. I want to see one of the Starship boosters come back.
Oh yeah.
And see what sort of a boom that's going to make. But Yeah, I'm sad like that. I do apologise, but it never gets old for me.
Is it
Exciting.
Sorry, Paul?
indistinguishable from magic, really, isn't it, compared to what we grew up with? It's quite extraordinary. And, that Falcon 9 booster, by the way, I was just looking up some stats on it. It is, give or take, a little bit, it is the same size and power as an old Saturn 1B. And the Saturn 1B, they put men on those. They Apollo 7 and Skylab's 2, 3, and 4 were all launched on Saturn 1Bs because that would take an Apollo to low Earth orbit.
Yeah,
and take it to the moon.
Yeah, that's right. That's what they did most of their testing with, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah. So,
so for those who remember those days,
I know.
I was told about by my grandparents. I'm only 16.
I'm afraid I was watching it all on television. 4 or 5 line monochrome.
Well,
all the other one does.
I was quite. It was funny. The other day we were talking about watching the film The Dish on one of the shows, and we recommended people that. So I haven't seen that for ages. So I thought I was going to get to see it free because it's quite old, but I had to rent it in the end from Amazon Prime.
Okay.
Anyway, so it cost me £2.90, and I've got it I can watch it 2 or 3 times if I want. I've got it for 30 days. But I watched it the other day, and it's a very it's a bit tongue in cheek. It's about the Parkes radio telescope in Australia, and of course, like I said, it's a bit tongue in cheek. There's some comedy involved in it, but there's Sam Neill's in it, so it's got somebody quite big. Tells the story of how they broadcast the live television signals from the moon on Apollo 11, and all the problems they had to actually do that. And it was an interesting film, but they use a lot of the actual footage and communications and things like that on there. And I found when they actually did the moon, when Neil Armstrong come down the ladder and Buzz Aldrin, I was sort of like quite not sort of emotional. It felt I was there. I can remember that. I was sat there in my pajamas. My mum and dad had got me up because they did the walk early, of course. We come down, and I sat there and I was glued to the telly, and I couldn't take my eyes off of it. But it just felt, really, I don't know, really, it was magical. It was magical. I see they've just started the show. They'll probably be talking about Ireland's. Let's see if Mr. Ricochet's on there, shall we? So let's have a look. I'll just bring it up.
That's him?
That is him.
Yeah.
Do you know what? That's not actually his real name.
Yeah. So let me just turn him up. Let's see what the gentleman's. I have to sort of like come off of. That's what I want. Just turn it up a bit so we can hear
Work you through where everybody is, because there are a lot of moving parts around the world. Firstly, some of the senior team members aren't with us here tonight. They have made the trip all the way to California to the launch site. You can see them there looking exactly like the football trading cards that they are. They are all in California, and we'll get to watch the launch as it happens. Immediately behind me is Mission Control. Everybody else is going to be here and around us as well. If you have a look at Mission Control, you'll see some of the people who are involved there. They are on screen. We'll be able to spy on them at any moment that we think is opportune. On the console tonight, you can see the team there as well. And we will have guests on stage as well here with me, talking about how the mission got here and talking about the involvement of ESA as well. What happens next? Let me run you through the running order of events for this evening. So assuming we have no delay, I'm looking at the clock in front of me, which tells me 16 and a half minutes roughly to launch. Launch will occur. We're going to go over to our launch provider and watch that as it happens. We're going to stay with that until the booster lands a little bit later. In terms of what happens to AirSat 1 after that, there is then separation. That is going to happen in orbit. Antennas will deploy, and then we will come back here a little bit later on for AOS, or acquisition of signal. If you have no idea what that means, don't worry. I have people here who are going to explain that to you over the course of the evening. properly. We'll find out all of that throughout the course of the evening as we are here. Now, we're on our way towards lunch. My guests are with me here for most of the evening. Maeve Doyle, Maeve, tell me about your role within all of this.
So I'm a former AirSat-1 team member. I worked on the project during my MSc first and then my PhD on the flight software and operations for the mission.
Okay, Alex Kinnaird, what has been your involvement in all of this?
Yeah, so I work at the European Space Agency in the Education Office, and we have a program called the Flyer Satellite Program, of which I'm the program coordinator, and this program is in support of University CubeSat satellites like this one.
Okay, Maeve, somebody has switched on just now, has absolutely no idea what is happening other than that Ireland is launching its first satellite tonight. Just take us back 6 years and maybe explain to us the story of AirSat-1.
Yeah, so I suppose AirSat-1 really got started because of the interest of a research group here in the School of Physics at University College Dublin called the Space Science Research Group. That research group are very interested in an astrophysical source known as gamma ray bursts, or GRBs, and the high energy radiation that they give off. So as part of that interest, they were looking into the development of detector technologies, miniaturized detector technologies, as part of ESA contracts prior to the FYS programme. But then when the Flyer Satellite 2 call came about to have university class projects potentially launch these miniaturized satellite platforms with a payload on board, it very much piqued the interest of the group.
I bet it did. How did you get involved yourself personally?
It was a little bit of right place, right time. I was doing a research master's with the group at the time that AirSat-1 was accepted to the Flyer Satellite Programme.
And given that it's been 6 years, it's not just a single group of students who've been involved with this. There have been a lot of people over the course of the last 6 years. How many are we talking roughly?
About 50, I think, in total. So the project, as you said, was 6 years long. A typical master's programme is 1 to 2 years. Typical PhD programme is 4 years. So we've had a lot of students contributing to the project, not just from the School of Physics, but also from schools in engineering, mechanical and materials engineering, schools of computer science, and the schools of maths. So everyone bringing different skill sets and knowledge to the table.
And now we are this close to launch. How does that feel?
It's amazing. Yeah, kind of unbelievable.
How do you begin a project like this? So when you were accepted and you thought, okay, we're going to build Ireland's first ever satellite. You have no expertise in this. There's relatively little in the country. What happens when you're building that from the ground up?
So as I said, there's a lot of different students with different backgrounds. So you need a lot of people with bringing different skills to the table and different knowledge sets. But you also need a lot of support from the Flyer Satellite Programme in this case. So yeah, the Flyer Satellite Programme was essential to us. Okay,
for everybody who's wondering what the metal Battenberg is here, I'm going to just put that slightly in that seed metal Battenberg here is in front of us. This is a scale model of AirSat-1, which is about to be launched in a little over 13 minutes time. Maybe walk us through exactly what it is that happens when AirSat-1 actually gets out and starts doing some stuff.
Right, we'll leave that for a second, and then we'll just. I'd like to welcome Andy to the fold.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
Hi, Andy.
Hi.
Hi, Andy. You all right?
Yes, I'm fine. Thank you, Paul. Hello, Sinead.
Good to see you. Good to see you got out of work early.
Yeah, I got here. Not feeling brilliant. I woke up this morning with a horrific cold.
Oh dear.
But I had it 2 weeks ago, and it never really went away, and it came back this morning with a vengeance.
Right, Andy, I'll stop you there because we're not here for sympathy. We're here to launch a satellite.
Get the violins out. How's it going? How's
it's everything seems to be going ahead. The countdowns are obviously proceeding. So it's everything's still on time. We'll pop back in a second. I just thought we'd pop in and because that was a bit of an explanation of what they're actually doing. There is actually 3 experiments on board, which is GMOD, which is gamma ray module, and it's a first payload element called the gamma ray module, or GMOD. It is a miniaturized sensor for use in detection of gamma rays from both cosmic and atmospheric phenomena. We've got EMOD, the NBO module. The second payload element called NBO will provide in-orbit demonstration of novel protective oxide surface treatments. And what they'll be doing, these are actually painted on the side of the satellite, and they will be monitored for temperatures and so to see how they actually react.
Like an anti-rust coating.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
They could have just said-
that's one of the thing. And the third experiment, which is one which is a bit more involved, it's a novel software-based attitude control system. And what it will be doing is this control system will use the Earth's magnetic field to adjust its attitude in space. And of course, the attitude is basically where it's sat, what angle it's at, and things like that. So this is a brand new system. It's miniaturized, and hopefully, if it's successful, it can be added to future launch systems. So and this has all been, like I said, built by students in Ireland. So
and it's a tiny satellite, isn't it?
it's tiny because you saw it on the thing there. It's like you said, it's a Battenberg cake, just slightly bigger. It's a sort of Battenberg I like.
I think it's.
Sorry, carry on, Sinead.
No, I was going to say, I think it's like I read somewhere it's the size of a mint carton.
Yeah,
it probably is. Yeah, that's even better. Yeah. You saw it.
I was
going to say that,
I was going to say there's actually 25 satellites on this launch.
Yeah, there's some Korean ones, isn't there?
Yeah, the main payload is a Korean.
Yeah, the Korean 425.
That's right. They're military satellites. It's the first of 5 of their satellites going on. So there's 25 on there. Yeah.
There's a satellite for deorbit, which I'm interested in because of obviously the space shuttle type side of things. So, have we lost Sinead?
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Walked out in disgust.
Yeah.
Right. Know this more than
so
me,
does anybody know? Sorry, Paul. Go on.
I was just going to say that the Vandenberg launch site intimates to me that this is going into a polar orbit.
Yes.
Because Vandenberg launches to the south over the sea, doesn't it? And,
yes, that's right.
So,
so does anybody know how long after launch the satellites are going to deploy?
They went through a brief thing, but they didn't give any times.
Oh, great.
Of what I know they're actually doing. So
because SpaceX have stopped coverage pretty much after the landing of the first stage, haven't they? They don't often carry it through to these satellites.
But the ESA, which is the one I'm on, they said they will be coming backwards and forwards. But I'll tell you what we'll do is, I mean, if everybody, I'll just say something else about the Irish space sector. I found a report from 2021. That was the latest one I could find. And basically, I'd just like to say that they have altogether 97 different organizations that are actually working with ESA in different projects and all that. Wow. But they've also, I mean, they've been involved in a lot more other things. They were involved with the James Webb. They also have moved on to now actually how to adapt systems that are used in space sectors. The things like one of them says, for instance, Irish Enterprise has demonstrated the novel use of satellite positioning data using antenna to track and gather data on patient progress in hospitals. So they're not only just sort of like building things to go into space, they're actually utilizing them for other uses actually on the Earth. So this is what space is all about.
And another medical application. We were talking about Sinead's cold plasma, weren't we? In the context.
I was fascinated by that cold plaster.
Sounds a bit like cold fusion, doesn't it?
Yeah.
for fixing wounds and things like that. It was absolutely fantastic. So what we'll do is we'll watch the launch, and then hopefully if we go well, they're just sort of like chatting to people. I think it's people who are involved in designing it. But when we get some what looks like we're going to get some action, I'll click straight back onto it. And we'll watch the launch and we'll watch the return, because that never gets old.
There's somebody in the chat at the moment, so
and then hopefully we can they're talking to children at the moment. And then hopefully we can get some more information of the timeline of what things are going to happen. So it as you said, if there's, what would you say, Michael, 25 satellites on it?
25 satellites on board.
There's going to be a lot of deployment going on. So
just a quick thing to show you before we go over, guys.
What's that?
That That's the Aurora app. It's all bright red and happening.
Oh, not here, it ain't.
Yeah.
No.
We got heavy rain here.
I'm going to go down to the beach after.
Yeah, we'll have to go and have a look because, like I said, this storm, they don't know how long it's going to last, but it is a big one. It hit, like I said, it hit a bit late, but so everybody, Aurora alert in the UK. It did reach KP7 at lunchtime, and it appears that it's risen again because it went down to amber, but it's risen again. So if you've got any gaps in the sky, in the cloud, get out there, point your phone or your camera at that gap and see what you can find, because hopefully there'll be some.
Let me just see who's in the chat. Oh, Heidi's here. Hi, Heidi. How are you? Hope you're well. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, hi, Heidi. Lovely to see
Heidi.
you. Yes, I mean, I was hoping that it was going to be clear this evening, but we woke up to brilliant blue skies, but about 4 o'clock it started raining, and I thought, oh, that's that over with then.
So
Oh, Heidi, an absolute pleasure. You don't have to say thank you for having me. You're always welcome here. You know that.
Everybody's welcome.
I've got a cat desperately trying to go out.
Oh, the pleasures of live television. So at the moment they're just sort of like talking. As I was saying about the European, because the Irish, I don't know whether you've actually got your own space agency, but I think most of it's actually tied up with ESA because it all comes under the European umbrella. But one thing I will tell you is that in 2001, as I said, it brought into the coffers of all the companies that have got contracts with ESA, £19 million.
Wow!
So it's bringing money into Ireland, and that was a place with 36 Irish-based companies, with an additional 4.8 million in industry, and also ESA placed 3.2 million in contracts with Irish universities. So it's bringing in money. It's a growing phenomenon over in Ireland. Obviously, there's going to be more companies involved because, as I said, that was 2021. So right, we're 8:50, and I'm just watching the.
Yeah, I'm just watching the clock here. Yeah.
So,
I've just had a notification of a KP5 storm threshold.
Right.
Okay then.
Just reached at 1800 hours. Just
KP. That's nuts.
Yeah.
Hey!
Don't encourage him. Don't. It only gets worse.
Thank you.
See, this is why we usually start the show early, so we can get all these crappy jokes out the way,
and crappy jokes.
We can get ourselves sorted out and get all the silliness out. But
Heidi says Aurora.
I don't have the same sort of detailed stats, whatever, but in Northern Ireland here we have 42 companies when I last looked, working in the space industry as well. And the way things work in space stuff and astronomy is that because of that big stretch of water to my east, actually the north and south of Ireland work, kind of as a single unit, probably more so than between the UK and Ireland. So the north of Ireland, I would say, is probably more part of Ireland than it is of the UK in space stuff.
Because I mean they've got contracts with NASA as well, so it's obviously something that's getting a hold of, that people are getting hold of it, companies are getting interested, and they're starting developing things. I mean we've got Welsh companies that have been putting satellites into space and things like that. So the UK as a whole is up and coming, and we just need to iron out the wrinkles with licensing and things like that, and then we could be well away. It's a good thing. Right, we're on 1817, so I'm just going to go back to things. So I think we can talk over it. I'll just get the volume up for you.
for any Irish person so far. But tonight, Ireland is going to officially become part of the nations who are in space. A little over 66 years after Sputnik 1 was launched, Ireland will finally become a spacefaring nation, and you are here to witness it happen. Do please stay with us. We're coming back after the booster lands. We will talk you through the rest of the process. We'll be here for acquisition of signal as well. But for now, from everybody here, to everyone in Mission Control, and to everybody at the launch site, best of luck.
You see again is totally normal as we vent the TE LOX line ahead of liftoff.
They're going to be about 2 minutes late by the looks of it.
Yeah.
And as a reminder, at the request of some of our customers, we won't be showing any views of our payloads today. Live coverage will end after first stage landing and a successful shutdown of our MVAC engine's first burn.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, it's because of the military satellites.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, of course, the Koreans, that's right.
Yeah.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
There's confirmation that F9 is in startup mode. The internal flight computers have taken over the countdown, and Stage 1 and Stage 2 have begun pressurizing for launch.
I mean, all this hissing.
LV is go for launch.
Of these.
With that call out from our launch director, we know that we are go for launch. At just under T-minus 40 seconds, all systems of Falcon 9 are ready for liftoff with our 25 rideshare payloads on board.
T-minus 30 seconds.
It's a lovely day.
Certainly does, and all this hissing makes it sound like it's alive.
Yeah, it is alive.
But of course, these rockets are all reused. I mean, you can see the fairings are dirty, the boosters
T-minus 15 seconds.
Some of these boosters are running up to
T-minus
about
10,
16 now.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition. And go Korea 425, go SpaceX.
Vehicles pitching downrange.
Beautiful.
It certainly is. Never gets tired.
No.
It is a beautiful day for launch, and Falcon 9 has successfully lifted off from Vandenberg Space Force Base with payloads for 6 of our rideshare customers on board: Korea, Space BD, Citael, D-Orbit, York Space Systems, and Planet IQ. Now, during ascent, we tilt the engines. The technical term for this is gimbaling, and that turns the rocket horizontally in what we call a gravity turn. We're still going up, but now we are also heading horizontally away from the launch pad.
Max Q.
There's the call out from Max Q. So moments ago, we throttled engines down in preparation for Max Q.
Nominal.
Good call outs there that power and telemetry are nominal on board Falcon 9.
Wow.
Max Q is a critical moment during flight because the combined stresses caused by Falcon 9 accelerating through the atmosphere and the ambient static pressure are at their greatest. Now, the rocket typically needs to go around 17,500 miles per hour horizontally in order to avoid being pulled back down to Earth and reach orbit, which is why we perform that gravity turn. You can track our progress to orbit by keeping an eye on the Stage 1 telemetry in the bottom corner of your screen. Now we have 6 events coming up in quick succession: MECO, Stage SEP, S1 Flip, SES1, Boost Back Burn, Start, and Fairing Separation. During main engine cutoff, we'll shut down the 9 Merlin 1D engines, which is followed by stage separation.
Nominal trajectory.
Nominal trajectory on board Falcon 9. Once separated from the second stage, the booster will flip its orientation and begin heading back to Earth with a short boost back burn, while simultaneously, the second stage MVAC engine will ignite for the first time, followed quickly by fairing separation.
MECO.
Great.
Stage separation confirmed.
Wow.
Confirmation of MECO and stage SEP.
And back ignition.
Good call-outs that we've had
Stage 1 boost
SES1
back startup.
and boost back burn startup.
They make it look so easy now, don't they?
They do, yeah.
Fairing separation confirmed.
So we've heard those call outs for those 6 events that happened back to back and got great views of several of them. That was MECO, Stage SEP, S1 Flip, SES1, Boost Back Burn Start, and Fairing Separation. We will be attempting to retrieve those fairing halves again today once they fall back to Earth, using our recovery vessel, Go Beyond. Next up, we're listening to hear that we've completed our Boost Back Burn.
Stage 1 boost back shutdown.
Right on schedule. We are just about T plus 3 minutes and 28 seconds into today's mission. And the next critical milestone we're tracking is T plus 6 minutes and 42 seconds, when we expect to have some great views of the first stage's entry burn. For the entry burn, we relight 3 of the M1D
Both vehicles
engines.
remain on a nominal trajectory.
There we hear that Falcon 9 remains on a nominal trajectory.
Nominal's good.
Is it landed back at
For the entry burn, first we will relight the
It should
center
be,
E9 engine, followed shortly after by E1 and E5, which slows down the vehicle as it passes back into the Earth's atmosphere. Great views on your screen right now of Stage 1 and those grid fins as the booster heads back to Earth. We relight those engines to slow down and reduce re-entry forces, which ultimately helps us recover and reuse the first stage. During the entry burn, Falcon 9 is decelerating by firing those Merlin engines, but we're still moving really fast. This causes the vehicle to fly through Merlin's exhaust gases, also called the rocket's plume. And this deposits a layer of soot on the vehicle's surface, which is why our flight-proven vehicles tend to look so toasty. That soot comes from the carbon-based fuel that Falcon 9 uses. Now, as a quick reminder, at the request of some of our customers, we won't be showing any views of our payloads today. Live coverage will end after the first stage landing and successful shutdown of MVAC's first burn.
Yeah, we'll just stick with once it lands.
Just about a minute and a half until we expect to hear the call out that the entry burn has begun.
Give us any more information.
Yeah.
But we can talk over it. So.
It's the signal acquisition that is the important thing.
Yeah.
But we probably won't get that for a while, I wouldn't have thought.
Yeah, if we can get some sort of timeline. Because when they were talking earlier, the chap did say, Andy, do you know what the bloke's name is? The chap
Ricochet.
Ricochet, yeah.
Those grid fins on your screen are the primary mechanical mechanism that we use to steer the booster on its way back to Earth.
No, they're not. They're waffle makers.
Interestingly, even though they look quite small next to Falcon 9, they are about 4 by 5 feet, so about as large as a coffee table.
Oh.
Beautiful views.
Certainly is.
All coming via Starlink, of course.
Yeah, of course. No, yeah. If you've got it, use it.
Absolutely. Flaunt it.
So I'm not sure how long we've got. Not that long before we get the re-entry burn.
That's right.
Of course, we reuse our boosters and fairings here at SpaceX because reusability is a key to lowering the cost of spaceflight, which enables more investments in critical scientific research. Again, the Falcon 9 first stage supporting today's mission is about to perform this entry burn for the 17th time.
17.
Wow.
Great views of the coast of California beginning to come onto your screen now.
It's amazing. Never get tired.
No, never gets old.
No.
I must have watched how many hundred of these?
Stage 1 entry burn.
Yeah, quite a few.
Confirmation of entry burn startup. On your screen right now, you have 2 views of our first stage, one from our onboard camera on the left, and on the right-hand side, you can watch that landing as we come back toward landing zone 4 at Vandenberg Space Force Base.
I can see 2 dots. I think one of them somebody's cursor.
Yeah. Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
Confirmation of entry burn end. The Merlins on board the first stage are optimized for sea level. These achieve about 190,000 pounds of thrust during both ascent and descent, while the MVAC engine is optimized to operate in space, producing 220,500 pounds of thrust in vacuum. Coming up next, we'll shut down our MVAC engine on the second stage, followed quickly by our landing burn on the first stage. And as a reminder, we are targeting a land landing at landing zone 4 at Vandenberg Space Force Base today, which is just west of our launch pad.
Stage 1 transonic. Stage 2 FTS has safed.
Wait for the sonic booms.
When the sonic boom,
That's a brilliant shot, that is, isn't it?
Beautiful views
Stage 1
there.
landing burn.
And confirmation that we have begun our landing burn.
Wow.
Beautiful.
We're now waiting for Falcon to land back at landing zone 4.
Stunning, isn't it?
Stage 1 landing leg deploy.
Wow.
So general.
Perfect. Perfect.
And there you have it.
Stage
That
1
marks
landing confirmed.
SpaceX's 250th recovery of an orbital class rocket, including first stage landings for Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy. While the mission isn't over just yet, as a reminder, we won't be showing any second stage views today, and therefore we're going to end our coverage here. All of us at SpaceX want to give a big thank you to our customers, including Korea, Space BD, CTIL, D-Orbit, York Space Systems, and Planet IQ for entrusting us with today's mission. For those of
Right, so
that was extraordinary, wasn't it?
Yep.
yeah, that was absolutely unbelievable.
That landing, they make that look so easy, and that is hard.
Yeah.
You know what they're
Oh,
doing.
yeah.
And just a few years ago, that would have been pure science fiction.
Exactly.
Yeah, completely.
I mean, how many times did they try landing before they actually got
I
it?
know.
You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's their philosophy, isn't it? Just keep
Yeah.
trying and
Keep going.
fix it.
Yeah.
And
See if
learn.
they just see if they're talking about what happens next.
So they launched a Battenberg out of Vandenberg.
Yeah, Battenberg
how do you feel right now, seeing 6 years worth of work? It's on its way.
Emotional. It's surreal, to be honest. As you said, literally years of work have gotten us to this point, so it's amazing. It's hard to believe.
And the second part of it as well is, Alex, you and I were just having a conversation about watching boosters land like that. That still seems like there's a dark art involved in that.
Yeah, it's science fiction.
Witchery.
Alex, launches like this aren't really new for ESA in general, but this one is kind of special. What does this mean for ESA now that AirSat 1 is on its way?
It means a lot. It means a lot for ESA and for ESA education. This is the first satellite for Ireland. Congratulations, it's in space. We saw it cross the Von Karman
Let's have
line.
one of those, because we had one of those in this room. There have been 3 or 4 of these, but not in front of these cameras.
So now it's in space. So that's you can't take that back. It's a massive moment, I think.
Okay, I want to explain to people as well that there's a whole other part of this process. This is stage 1 of 3 in terms of the story that we're going to tell you here tonight. Don't go switching off. There is so much more to happen, and that's really interesting. In fact, okay, let's start by Alex. Walk us through the rest of the evening then in terms of what we're going to see.
Yeah. So it's, as I said earlier, AirSat 1 is with the launcher, it's in the box. It's gone through the most harsh mechanical environment it's ever going to experience now, that liftoff. It's in actually quite a nice place now in the deployer, but it's still attached to the launcher. So around 80, 90 minutes after launch, it's going to be in the right orbit and it's going to be pointing in the right direction. That box is going to then open through a telecommand, a signal that the box is going to get. Door opens, a pusher plate pushes the satellite out into space. It becomes the Irish satellite, the first Irish satellite. Yeah, and then I think Maeve's best place to explain the next steps.
Yeah, because we can see it just here on screen. If you have a look at that, separation
90
happens,
minutes, he said.
and then it's out in the real world. It needs to avoid, there's kind of a sort of traffic jam moment where AirSat 1 needs to get further away before the next stage happens.
Yeah, exactly. So when we deploy from the deployer, we start this 45-minute wait timer before we release any antenna elements or start transmitting any radio frequencies. And this is to make sure we're away from all the other objects that might have been deployed, and also.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Well,
I like the graphic on the right, I do.
Well, I think that's about it then, isn't it?
It certainly is. It's obviously they're going to stay on air by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
So, but they're not going to show the deployment, which is a bit of a shame.
No. We'll talk about it on Tuesday's show.
Yeah.
Here on Facebook.
Anyway, congratulations, Ireland.
Yeah, well done, Ireland.
Round of applause.
Fantastic.
Your first satellite in space, and
Yeah.
one big step for for a leprechaun. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to
Stereotyping much.
Yeah. Is there anything you'd like to say, Paul?
That was fabulous, absolutely fabulous. And I'm going to walk down to the beach with my camera and see if I can get the Aurora now.
Yeah, get your Aurora.
Yeah. Good luck with that. Good luck, mate.
Good luck.
Yeah. We'd like to say a big thank you to you and to Sinead for joining us.
Yeah, thank you very much.
It's a
It
pleasure.
was a pleasure for you to be here.
Yeah, thank you. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's nice to have two Irish people here.
And don't forget,
enjoy it with us.
Can I just say one thing before we go? There is
Certainly.
an Irish Shanukka, which means a phrase, which is Níl Shinsham or the Hinshan thing, which means it's basically there's no place like home, there's no fire like your own fire. But I saw one today which was Níl satellite mar the satellite hain, which means there's no satellite like your own satellite. It's a very good common Irish phrase. So congratulations to all involved. It's amazing to watch.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah.
Well done everyone involved.
Yeah.
And also it proves space can cross borders. We know Ireland's had its troubles in the past, but this was both Northern and Southern Ireland working together. Well done, everybody.
Exactly. Well done.
Well done.
And Paul and Sinead, don't forget, you have an open invitation to come and join us.
Thank you.
Whenever you want. And
thank you so
you've
much.
got the link. So, whenever, we have our live shows on Tuesdays and, we cover live space events like this, significant events.
Okay.
You're both always welcome to come and join us whenever you like. Always lovely to see you.
Yeah, everyone's
Thank
welcome.
you.
So, right. So I think we'll wrap things up for this evening. Thank you, viewers, for watching us. Nice to see you here, Heidi. And we had quite a few other people joining us as well, but Heidi's the only one in the chat. So thanks for being here, Heidi. We hope to see you again soon. We'll be back on Tuesday, of course, with our normal weekly live stream, 8 p.m. UK time, 3 p.m. EST. And where we bring you all the latest space news. And we'll be talking about this satellite on Tuesday, because hopefully by then they'll have confirmation that it's working okay. And perhaps we'll dig into the science a bit more for Tuesday as well, and find out exactly what's going on.
And thank you, Mr. Ricochet, for his.
Thank you, Ricochet. He's the guy who invented bouncing things off satellites. So,
well, this is what we said. We don't want this.
Oh, sorry, that was been done. I'm going to hang my head in shame now.
Yeah, so you should. So you should.
Yeah, I will.
Anyway.
I'll go and do that in the dark corner now. So anyway, from all of us at Space Oddities, from myself, from Michael, from Sinead, from Paul, from myself, we wish you a happy weekend. Hope to see you on our live stream on Tuesday. But until then, from all of us here, take care of yourselves, look after each other.
Keep looking up.
Keep looking up. If you get clear skies with this geomagnetic storm, keep your eye on the sky, and we will see you very soon. So from all of us, bye.
Thank you so much.